If you're dating after 40 and keep attracting Mr. Unavailable on repeat, and what you really want is lasting love with Mr. Right, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about something many smart, self aware women struggle with after years of heartbreak, and that's how to stay open in love without losing yourself. Are you ready? Let's go. Many single women over 40 looking for love are constantly disappointed from chasing after connections that don't go anywhere. Hey, I'm Truly Eleanor. I'm an intuitive dating coach with 17 years experience. I help women trust themselves enough to choose the right guy to date so they can finally have a lasting love that feels like home. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you click that button so you don't miss an episode. Today we're answering the question, can I really be open and grounded? In other words, can I keep my heart open and still feel connected to myself? Are you ready to allow connection without abandoning yourself? Then stay tuned. We're going to talk about it. Season 5 is all about emotional maturity and becoming embodied in real-time dating. And that's just a fancy way of saying you're taking all that information, all the awareness that you've developed, the journaling, the books, the courses, whatever it is you've been doing, and you start to feel it in your body. You start to walk and talk those experiences. And when you're on a date, you start saying things that come out of your mouth that might be surprising because it's like, wow, I can't believe I said that. That was so great. Or I never would have been able to say that before learning all this stuff. That's what you call embodiment. Embodiment is when you're doing it, living it, feeling it in real time, and you can actually see the difference in your dates, and you can see the difference how you feel on a date. And that's what embodiment means. And that's the focus of this season. You can go back and listen to the episodes from season 5 if you need to catch up, but stay with me till the end of this one, and then you can always go back later. Today, our core shift is replacing that sense of hyper independence with trusting yourself. And hyper independence is really being independent beyond what you really need to be doing. And I was like this for so many years. And it might sound like this. Well, I don't really need anybody. I can make it on my own. I can be happy on my own. I'm a self-sustained woman. Of course, this is true. Absolutely. What I'm talking about is that feeling underneath it. Like, I wish I didn't have to be like this. I wish I didn't have to be so strong. I feel really tired. I feel emotionally exhausted. That's how you can tell the difference between someone who's really excited to be independent. They love their freedom. They love their independence. And they want to, forge their own path and all of those things. And they love their own company versus feeling like, well, I'm doing all these things and I have to do it. I really have no choice. I have to be this independent because I don't want to rely on anyone else. I don't want to get let down or disappointed again. And you can check in for yourself. Which one are you leaning towards? And if you are being hyper independent, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a slow process to let people in. And that's why I wanted to do this episode today. I want to talk to you about remaining in your true power, being your true self, and connecting to other people and allowing your heart to stay open. You can actually do both. Isn't that exciting? If you're saying to yourself, I don't want to have to do everything alone. The good news is you don't have to do everything alone. And being open doesn't mean losing your boundaries. You can be open-hearted. You can be powerful. I've talked to so many women who have a beautiful, big, open heart. They're a deeply caring person. And they're afraid to remain caring, and they're afraid to keep their heart open because they think that somehow they're going to get taken advantage of or that they're going to be hurt. And I often have to coach them through the fact that you're going to be more magnetic, more powerful, more connected to yourself and connected to others as you remain open. And so that's the funny little thing that happens. We think, oh no, I need to keep my heart closed. I need to keep my energy close to myself. I need to guard myself and stay vigilant and be always very independent. Because if I open my heart, I'm going to become someone else, or I'm going to give up all of my standards, all of my ideals. And that's simply not true. I want to help you understand why hyper-independence often develops after repeated disappointment in love, and to show you how openness and trusting yourself can exist at the same time, and support you in staying emotionally present without abandoning yourself. And so the identity shift today is going from the woman who protects herself by staying emotionally independent, that hyper independence we're talking about, to becoming the woman who trusts herself enough to stay open while staying grounded and connected to herself. From self-protection to secure connection. And that rhymes, so great. Of course, it's got to be true if it rhymes. And the result of stepping into that identity of becoming more of yourself, the result is that dating feels more balanced and less exhausting. You stop over-functioning or withdrawing, and you allow the other person to step up. You allow the other person to show up fully as themselves, and then you decide whether you want to stay with them or continue a connection. And connection becomes possible without losing your personal boundaries. You don't have to sacrifice anything to remain open, even though you might have been taught that you have to do this in the past. And love begins to feel collaborative instead of draining. There's that interdependence, and interdependence is where you are relying on each other. It's a mutual give and take. It's a feeling of safety. It's a feeling of being supported and cherished and held up. And you are also doing the same in equal measure. And it's always not even Steven. Sometimes you're helping the other person, sometimes they're helping you, but it's a beautiful back and forth mutual ebb and flow within the relationship. And you're always feeling cared for and supported in some way or another. That's interdependence. And that's what we're striving for today. You can always do some journaling. Am I hyper independent? And what are some of the things that I've done to remain independent? And how is that closing me down when I thought it was actually protecting me? It's keeping me small. It's keeping you safe, but it's not allowing you to actually be open enough to be in a connected, devoted relationship with someone. Can you see how you can't really have both? If you're closed down, if you're protecting yourself, if you're saying, oh no, I don't need you to help me with that, or no, I don't really want to be that open, and shutting down, you can see how that will hinder a mutually loving relationship. And I want to give you a scenario that will drive this home for you. Imagine that you used to do everything yourself. When I was younger, I used to go so far as to say, I can move my own furniture. I would do everything in such a hard way where it'd be like I'd be carrying 10 bags of groceries and almost breaking my back, or trying to move a piece of furniture because I'm like, I'm an independent woman and I can do this. And I don't need a man to help me, and I don't need anyone to help me. And I'm all for equality. I'm all for equity. I am all for women's rights. I'm absolutely 100% on that train. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that there's a point where the independence becomes just pushing people away and not allowing them to show up with you, and not allowing them to connect to you and get to know you. Because if you're very, very independent, there's not really much room for vulnerability, which is where we really get to know people. So going back to the scenario, you're independent, you're successful, you're capable. No one has any doubt in their mind that you can do it all. But when someone shows genuine interest in you, you notice a familiar reaction start to play up in your body or in your emotions. You have a quiet urge to pull back, to say, I don't need this. I can make it on my own. Not because the man is wrong, but because relying on someone feels unfamiliar. And when someone shows interest in you, they want to be with you. They want to help you. They want to shower you with gifts, or they want to do something to show their appreciation. And then that independence card comes in, the hyper independence comes in, where you say, no, I don't accept. I don't need those gifts from you. I don't need any admiration. And it becomes a rejection. As you practice trusting yourself, you realize something. You can still be in your power and be vulnerable. This is where many women have troubles and struggles, and it's not your fault. It is very much a product of today's world. where we've been told we have to be one or the other, either that really high-powered, independent person where you don't need anyone, or someone who's fully dependent, where you just kind of collapse in yourself and say, I need your help. I can't move forward without you. And it seems to be only one or the other. Well, the middle ground is where you become who you truly are, your true self, and expressing yourself and reaching your potential and all of these beautiful things with someone at your side who fully supports you. And you don't have to become someone else to find that kind of relationship. Let's walk this scenario and these concepts through my Let Love In method. And if you've listened before, you know that we alchemize these ideas through my framework. We start with the true awareness. This is where we notice when independence is protecting you from vulnerability. You can ask yourself, where am I saying no because I'm afraid of saying yes to my heart? For example, if someone says, I really want to meet you and I can't wait to go on a date with you, and you immediately start to pull away and start coming up with all kinds of reasons why you can't go out with them or why you'd better just leave it alone and focus on your career or whatever you're doing at the time, because there's that fear and the urge to pull back or the urge to close up your heart. Just noticing those times, it takes away a lot of that power that it has over you. And then you want to move into the true acceptance, the second part of the framework, allowing yourself to need connection without judging it. So that's another thing. We have this beautiful open heart and we have so much love to give, and we really want that beautiful, deeply connected, devoted relationship. And yet we don't want to admit or say that we want this and it's a true desire that you want. It can be really scary to admit that because, again, it goes against that idea that you don't need anything from anybody, that you are totally independent. And so accepting that you need and want, as a human, we all need connection without judging yourself. You want that deeply devoted connection. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It is a beautiful desire to have. So making sure that you accept that part of yourself. And moving into the final piece is the true connection. To stay connected to yourself while allowing someone else to show up. And I'm going to read some truths right now around this to help bring it home. A healthy relationship doesn't require self-sacrifice. A healthy relationship, someone who is open and available to you, they don't require you to shut down. They don't require you to be anyone other than yourself. That's what a healthy relationship is you can show up as you and they can show up as themselves. And that's what it's all about. So if you feel any sense where you have to be someone else, or you feel the sense of, I don't feel like opening up to them, and you've done some work around this, you've done a bit of healing and journaling, and you're still feeling that way, then they're probably not the right person for you. And trusting yourself allows you to stay open without losing yourself. Emotional safety supports both independence and connection. A healthy relationship allows you to be independent, to do what you need to do, to shine and flourish in your own soul purpose, and continue to stay deeply connected to the other person. That's what it means to be emotionally safe in a beautiful, healthy relationship. And being unavailable to unavailable men means allowing the right person to meet you. So when you have that sense where your heart says, wow, this feels like real potential. I feel like I want to be around them and I really feel drawn to them, not in a way that feels chaotic or feels like your nervous system is going off, as I talked about in other episodes, but as a way that you feel magnetic to them and drawn to them in a safe and curious kind of way. When you experience that, you want to allow yourself to open. You could think of it as a flower that blossoms open. It's done slowly. It doesn't immediately go, bam, it's open. A flower will slowly open in a gradual and sacred pace. So you can allow that for yourself if you feel that beautiful, I don't want to call it an urge, but it's this knowing. Let's call it an inner knowing within you, saying, I feel like I want to be around this person. I feel drawn to them and it feels good to be drawn to them. It doesn't feel out of control. It just feels natural. It feels right. And the next truth I want you to really hear is embodiment means trusting that you can handle closeness. I'll say that again. Embodiment means trusting that you can handle closeness. You were born for it, really. If you're listening to this episode, you were born to be deeply connected to others. You are heart led. You've been led astray maybe with different experiences and some hurts and heartbreak, which you can heal, which you can start to soothe so that you can go back to being your natural self. Being your true self is being open-hearted. And listening to this, I know you're a very heart-centered person. And so this is the most natural thing in the world for you to do. It's going to be even easier than you ever imagined to be like this. It's just allowing yourself to be who you are. And learning to stay open while grounded is a skill. It is something we learn over time. The relationship you have with your own intuition and inner guidance, your heart, allowing it to speak to you, listening to it, following it. And you can do this in small steps. If you want deeper support with that process, my Intuitive Path to Love course helps you reconnect with your inner wisdom, trust your instincts in dating, and recognize emotionally available partners sooner. Wouldn't that be amazing? And you can find it in the show notes if you're ready to date with more of trusting yourself and clarity rather than that knee-jerk reaction of shutting your heart down. The take home of today's episode is that you can be open. And in fact, the more open you are with your heart, the stronger you become and the easier it is to connect with others on that deeply heart resonant level. And it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that the more you open, the more you're going to collapse. It's actually the opposite. And you just need to start practicing the image of the flower blossoming open a little more and a little more and a little more at a gentle pace. I hope this has been helpful today and given you something to think about and to show up as you are on dates and staying open, knowing that that is your superpower, that's your strength, and that's what's going to change everything for you. And you don't have to lose yourself in that process. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. Next week, we're going to be talking about how you don't need to heal more. You need to integrate. So I'll see you there. Remember, you can't make Mr. Unavailable love you, but you can choose someone who does. And love is closer than you think.